1, 2, and 3, let's go. Assembles. Jackets is a science, but the industrialize. We now, the Yambo, we are stigmatized. We now, we don't need a visa. Niggas in the Zamoresa. Let me go to
Good evening and welcome to My Future. I'm Ruveneko. This evening we're speaking to the students that this STEM curriculum was actually created for. I'd like to speak to the STEM campaign itself and your understanding of the prizes and the opportunities. I know that there's a prize possibility for somebody to go and visit Silicon Valley, and even for the schools there's opportunities for equipment and laboratories to be built. So I'd like to find out about the infrastructure at your schools. What are the labs like? What is the equipment like in terms of supporting science subjects?
Well, the equipment at our school is satisfactory. It's fine, but obviously we need more to accommodate us A-level students, because we do practicals at the end of the year. At such schools, obviously things break and we don't have the funding to replace. Yes. So we do need these things, and I think STEM or the government, they shouldn't just limit supporting schools who are doing STEM. They should just offer this to basically most schools who want to do sciences and who want their students to succeed in sciences.
As basic assistance, regardless of the STEM campaign and the competition.
Yes. Rather than just limiting the schools.
Okay.
Because the question still stands, is it fair? That's what I have to say now.
All right. And coming back to this side on infrastructure, ku Churchill, kwa kamira sei? Ma labs in yakamira sei, equipment yenu iriko ere, mune support yacho ere, kuti mubudiri ni ma subjects wae.
Yeah, support is there, we've got the equipment, but as you all know, it's never enough, as humans. So we still need more for us to do the practicals every quad. So,
some of the equipment is very old, prehistoric.
Prehistoric?
Yes, because some of the biorates don't even have readings. So we're now doing bucket chemistry. So you have to guess the reading.
Wow. Okay, so there's definitely a loophole there. And I guess this is what government is looking at and saying in this campaign, although it's being run as a competition, it is ultimately so that the schools get the best, so that the students come out with the best results. Any thoughts there on your infrastructure at Harare High? At Roosevelt, sorry.
I think our labs are okay because we've got apparatus to meet the requirements. They try their best to promote the science field at our school because people are afraid to take up sciences. So we've got equipment for all our practicals. They try to provide depending on which practical we're carrying out.
How often do you do practicals?
For my class, we've got a day for practicals for each science subject.
That's once a week?
Yes.
All right. Okay. And at Harare High, although you're not taking the science subjects, I'm pretty sure you have some intel and you know what's going on.
Well, at Harare High, the equipment is quite inadequate because I did sciences at O level. Actually, at O level, we didn't get to do practicals because it'd be saving the equipment for the A levels. So I think this STEM program has to look back to those who are doing science at O level, so that we can maximize the pass rate at O level, and then we get a lot of people doing sciences at A level.
We're going to hear from each of our panelists about what their vision is for Zimbabwe in line with what they're studying at school currently, be it arts, commercials, or STEM.
I'm Research Famba from Harare High School. I'm 17 and I'm going to do accounting under articles, and I'm going to help Zimbabwe in accounting and accounts as well.
I'm Troy Kutsaisbanda by Churchill School, and I'm going to become an aerospace engineering, and we improve the aircraft engineering by the Zimbabwe.
I'm Tsitima Shushu from Harare High, age 17. I'm doing arts and I want to study law so that we can get justice for all.
I'm Mutendi Vudzi from Churchill, and I'm going to be a cardiosurgeon. I'm going to improve the health of the people in our nation.
Nyestimi ndaisaita sindakutorera utanga program yakanaka zvakadai izvo kumisira guri wapanzira apa vana vedu vanenge vatestawo effort yekuti dai vangaita sei vaona mukana wokudzidza.
Dei zvichienda mberi vachinyanya kukurudzira nyaya yeeducation with production, kuti izvozvi zvavari kudzidza cheteka vaedze kuvandudza basa rekuti vave vanodzidzawo nepractical side of it, kuti zviite education with production, because vana vemazuva ano vamwe vanongodzidza asi kuzondozviita zvinhu zvacho anenge asingazvigoni.
Zvandinotarisira ini zvingaedza kuwedzerwa zvezvekuti ivo vadzidzisi vacho kuti mwana anziita chakati ndongani chokusenzesa.
Chikumbiro ndicho chokuti maequipment acho awanikwe, fanika zvese zvekumascience laboratory. Handisingazivi kuti zvikoro vanazvo here science laboratory, uye nekuedza kuti varerekere kuproduction pamadzidziro avari kuita kuti vazokwanisa kuita practical muindustry.
The main problem right now is the equipment. If you look at Polytechnic, where some of our apprentices are going, the equipment is almost, it has been overused.
Michina yavanenge vachishandisa kuda zvinogona kuvaremera nekuzotadza kunyatsonzwisisa nekuda kuti mwe nhambo panenge pasina kutsanangurirwa kana kuti mishina yekushandisa yakakwana, saka zvinoremera mwana kuti hongu anogona kunge achiverenga zvake, but dzimwe nguva zvezvichida sekunge mukatarisa dzimwe nyika dzinana China, vana vanokwanisa kuzvibata nekumhiri kwemakungu nekuda kuti vanenge vaine mishina yekusenzesa.
I think the most important thing for the government right now is to improve the machines, especially at Polytech, so that they can have the latest machines which are moving with the trend. You find we've got, in cars, we're improving every day. We've got some of the latest cars. But then the machines which are supposed to be reconditioning those cars, they are worn out.
Isu sevabereki tinenge tine chido chacho chekuti mwana anga aine mukana saiwoyo, but mubereki saizvozvizvi mari ndo dzinenge dzichitora kuti dziri kushaika. Mumwe musi haukuwane kuti uwane mabatsiro aungaite mwana nekuda kwemari. Saka chikumbiro chimwe chataita kuti dai zvaikwanisika kuhurumende kuine vana vanenge vachida kuendera mberi nemasainzisi iwayo, zvinobatsirawo pabudiriro panyika yedu. School fees at the moment vanhu vakawanda vamwe vatorine mabacklogs, vane maareas emapayments emaschool fees. Saka ndinotenda hurumende nedanho ravakatora nekuda kuti kana nesuwo neniwo semubereki ndine ndarerukirwa, ndabatsirwa chaizvo.
Our kids might be getting the training, but the main issue right now is there's no employment in the country. So you find most of the kids, after we give them our Zimbabwean training, but then because of the technology, internet and everything, they are realizing that in other countries like the first world, they've got better machines than us, they've got better training. So most of the children, they end up going to the first world.
To enter an apprenticeship, you need to be cleared. You need to get a clearance letter from the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education.
So you need my machines that are standard. My challenge that face with my machines that my money are outdated. Can I trick Paul? Now pakamba nedu are right. As can to score kutunyaza udzidza are outdated. Umboto bad zvinhu zvacho. Ekusutoya kukambani.
The problem which I faced recently was at the college. The college, they've got way back machinery, if I can say. The machinery are outdated. If you can check in engineering disciplines globally, we are in the technology era. Technology is improving day by day. So they are introducing machinery which are CNC, computer numerical machines.
We need government assistance, especially for machines. Country pa pole pa chikoro. Mamwe acho outdated, service mamwe acho. Saka anoda proper upgrading so that tinokwanisa kuramba tichiwana machine iri pa standard.
The kind of assistance we are expecting from the government is they should even consider visits to technical institutions and then they should engage in workshops. Then we should investigate what type of the machinery they have, what condition are those machinery in, so that they can see what improvements they can have to give compliments to ZimDev. As an apprenticeship, we get say, a certain amount of allowances that we get from ZimDev. And also I would like to compliment the company that I'm training at. They are adding, they are giving us, on top of what we are getting from ZimDev, they are giving us some money, which is quite helpful to us.
My technical subjects ndo akutoshanda mazuva. Technically, basa remuofisi nowadays harichanyanisa kubhadhara. Technical work rinobhadhara. Uye kuti unokwanisa kuwana employed. Even if you don't get employed, unokwanisa kuzviitira. Unlike kuva muoffice, you wait for another company to open so that ndokuti ukwanise kushanda. Saka I'm advising all those who want to venture into this trade, they should take it seriously. I see serious kuti inoitwa nevanhu hanzi emagrees vanoiseka asi inobatsira.
Okay, if you are doing, if you are in an apprenticeship, there are 3 things that you should expect to get. The first is the national certificate that you get after theory at Harare Polytechnic. Then there is the second, which is the trade test card or class, which you get from the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Trade Testing Department. There you go, there you will be trade tested practically to see if you can use the machinery that you are training in well, and then you get a class 1 certificate, which is the second one. And then there is the third, that one is for apprentices. If you manage to complete the 4 years of apprenticeship, you will get the certificate of completion of apprenticeship training.
Now this afternoon, we are in Dr. Gandawa's office. He's the Deputy Minister in the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology Development. He's afforded us the opportunity to come into his working space. There's always a lot of activity happening here, of course, in the new government complex. Now, Dr. Gandawa, thank you for having us.
Thank you, Renako.
Yeah, so this is where all the magic happens, huh?
This is where it's happening.
Okay. Now, we spoke with a number of students and they were complaining about the lack of equipment in their schools, saying that for practical experiences they don't get that because there's just not enough equipment. And I understand that STEM is catering to that in some instances, but not to every school.
Yeah, we are aware that we have deficiencies of laboratories and equipment in some of our schools, and it's a matter that we are seized with. And our ministry, our sister ministry of primary and secondary education is aware of the problem, and they are doing enough to rectify the problem.
Right.
But as a ministry also in charge of higher and tertiary education, science and technology development, we have also to assist in a way to make sure that our infrastructure, these students that we are targeting, are able also to get the materials and tools to use. At the end of the day, you want a solid product.
No, sure.
So, yeah, so as a government, I know we are seized with the matter, and we are sure we should come up with strategies to mobilize resources to at least equip. We cannot do it in one day, but we should be able at least to make strides towards that area of improving the infrastructure.
So these structures are not yet in place?
I would say in some schools they are not yet there, but all schools that offer the sciences, at least they have the basic equipment that is required. Yeah.
Well, as you'll hear, you know, some of the term basic can be used loosely because what happens is in 2016, there is some equipment that was created last year, 2014, 13, that does not exist in a lot of our schools, where a lot of the students are complaining, saying we are using equipment that is outdated, so that by the time they now enter the workforce, they have been trained with outmoded equipment, and they're now supposed to apply themselves practically in an environment where technology and inventions have escalated, you know, 20 years beyond what they're actually learning with, which is a huge disadvantage.
You see, the A-level A-level students are getting the basic entry requirements into universities. And I'm very positive that our universities, where they will eventually get into and then get the actual skills that they require for the world of work, we have equipment in the universities and our polytechnics. And we have actually invested. We have almost to the tune of 9.2 million that we have invested in equipment in polytechnics and universities through the ZIMDE fund.
The directors representing SMEs who are talking about the inadequacies and the deficiencies where they're looking to employ young people, but by the time they come and apply for employment, they're not ready to enter the workforce simply because they have not had enough practical training, or if they have, the equipment is outdated.
The world of work, you know, there is a continuation of skilling that we need to drive in our students. We admit that's why it calls for a review in curriculum. We are reviewing our programs in the polytechnics as well as in the universities so that we match the skills that are required by industry currently.
Okay, how long is this process going to take?
The process
because
is...
this is what's happening now.
Yeah, the process is ongoing, you know. You always, every semester, you know, you make sure we revise the curriculum that we are teaching the students. But suffice to say that we really need to advance in terms of having the psycho kind of skills, the psychomotor skills that we must put in our students, and tend to shift. We need a paradigm shift to shift from more of theory to more of practical work, so that the students, you know, are prepared for what the industry requires. Yes.
Right. So this is exactly what we're speaking to Dr. Gandawa, saying that in the end, it almost seems as if Zimbabwe will then be shortchanged, and that our standards will not be as high as we'd like them to be, even if we do manage to churn out, you know, scientists each year, whether from high school or from tertiary institutions. Once they enter the job market, because of the lack of practical experience where they are learning, they are not going to be able to produce the high level of technology that we so want and that we so need to compete globally. I believe one of the president's quotes during this campaign was to create students that are relevant nationally and competitive globally.
Yeah, what has happened is, you know, we have NAMACO, it stands for the National Council for Manpower Development, NAMACO. It's a combination of industry sectors, and there are 20 sectors of industry. They are the ones that advise the ministry in terms of the skills that are required by industry. Then we use them also when we are changing our syllabuses, because they are the ones that need the skills. Right. So we are already seized with that matter, and we are inculcating the skills that are required by industry into our institutions. And we are driving, we are telling the institutions, the polytechnics,
maybe you can tell us
the universities,
the most current one that you actually worked with.
All universities have been directed to make sure that we put more of the practical courses or programs in the universities and the polytechnics. There is need, for instance, when we have the industrial trade testing centers, we call them ITCs. These are purely practical, that train technicians to artisans. So this is the drive that we are saying we need to increase the numbers in those particular areas. The hard sciences, which will drive to engineering. You know, technicians, we need technicians. We need engineers and so on. So the ICTs are taking care of that, while all programs that are STEM based needs to have more of the practical than the theory. If we do that, we will address the deficiencies that industry is complaining about.
Okay. All right. Now, it also seems that you'll hear as well the students talking about when they are on apprenticeship, they are learning more there than they are in college because there's more hands-on experience. And that is also something that I'm finding a little bit, you know, skew in the sense that not every student, first of all, gets the opportunity to have an apprenticeship.
Yeah, the apprenticeship program that you're talking about is the one that I was mentioning to say we train technicians and artisans.
Right.
It's actually a specific kind of program that is designed for practical work.
Right.
They are working whilst they are learning, you know.
Right.
They are
So
understudying.
they
Yes, they are paid for that,
Okay.
but they are understudying you know, the experienced artisans already in industry. So they are more like on a daily basis, they are working, they are practically applying what they will do when they are employed. But they are like more, they are internees, but they are doing the practical work. This is more, we would be very much be glad if we have more students, you know, taking these kind of programs, because we know even if they are not employed by someone, they will be able to create work themselves.
Right, and become entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So what is the difference between an attachment and an apprenticeship?
When you are on attachment, you spend more of your time in college or university.
Right.
Then you are going on the third year. That's when you are going to do what we call on-the-job training. But most of the time you are in university. But when you are in on apprenticeship, you spend more of your time at work doing the practical work, and there is less theory. That's the difference. 3/4 of your time you are doing the practical work rather than in college.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's substantial and understandable. And one thing, of course, we just hope is that this will be applied. We often hear that government has plans to plan and plans to plan that plan and implement these things. But we hope that we will see the benefits of this and that there'll be more students appreciating that equipment has been developed within the high schools, within the universities, so that by the time they're going to look for work, they are equipped. And Dr. Gandawa, you know, one of the areas that has come up is the lack of tertiary institutions in rural schools. Is there a plan to build even polytechnics or colleges or training institutions where students who take up STEM subjects in rural areas can continue in their environment?
Well, thank you very much for that question. What has happened is the government has a policy for one university per province. And by the end of by June, we will have completed that aspiration of having a university per every province. The final 2 universities is the Manicaland University and the Gwanda University, and the bills are already in Parliament. We still have an aspiration to have a teachers' college per every province. And Mashonaland West and Matabeleland North are the 2 provinces that do not have a teachers' college currently. And they are the same provinces that do not have polytechnics too.
Right.
So these issues we are seized with, and we are very positive. We need to make sure we have a tertiary, a university in every province, a teachers' college in every province, and a polytechnic in every college. Then we also have an aspiration to increase our industrial training centers. Since we are saying we want more of practical work, we want to put at least per every district we must have an industrial training center. So we are very positive. If we put industrial training centers per every district, all those students or people around the area will at least get access to practical education or education per se.
Assuming that these institutions will cater for science and technology.
Definitely they will cater for science, technology and engineering, amongst other programs. But we also have a thinking in these institutions. You know, it's not everyone, you know, who is able to attain the highest qualifications. We also want, when we put them in districts, we also want to cater for self-help programs.
Sure. Well, there you heard it from Dr. Gandawa. So that's it from us on My Future this evening. We hope that we do continue to churn out a generation of young people who are not just book smart, but who can actually do the job when it comes down to it. That's it from me on My Future. I'm Ruveniko. Good night for now. Be good. And if you can't be good, be safe.
Tian, hurry up!